All right, what's going on, guys? I already see Nico's in here. He's always making it from Mexico City. Thanks for showing up, Nico. Can you give me a thumbs up, Nico, that this is working? You can hear my audio here. Yeah, thanks for everybody for coming in on this Monday again. I'm trying to do this every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's been kind of tough lately. Just life stuff happens, and I don't have any internet access. And today I almost didn't have internet access, but I pulled it together and got a hotel room because I didn't have any power at my house. But I got it together. But anyway, I appreciate you guys tuning in. All right. So Nico says sound is good, loud, and clear. Good, perfect. My biggest fear is talking on this thing for 30 minutes and nobody can hear me. Appreciate the help there. Anyway, so I was going to go over a couple of things here with you guys. What I've done is I've made a Facebook group that I'm going to share with you. If you want to get on that, just kind of you can join. And that way it might be better to kind of communicate with the people that want to kind of come in every week. So let me share that with you right now. Hold on, let me see if I can pull this up on the screen. This is it here. I know that's long. I'm also going to put this in the chats. So you can see. Let me see if I've got this here. But this is going to be a Facebook group that you can join. It's the Meditation Monday with Gregory Hodges, and that way I can kind of throughout the week kind of be communicating with y'all, letting you know what's happening. In case there's emergency, I can't make it this Monday, so you don't plan for it and it doesn't work out. So I've been trying to communicate as best I can. So let me get that for you. I'm gonna put it in the chats as well right now. So hold on. All right, here we go. All right, so that's in the chat. So now you can just click on that and just join. You shouldn't have any issues going over, but I put it on the screen here so the people that watch it after when it's not live, they'll be able to find it as well too. So anyway, that's the Facebook group, and we're going to see how that goes and see what happens. So again, like I said, I try to do this every week. I didn't get to last week because I was actually traveling to Texas and I was doing an interview with another YouTuber. And the YouTuber was Salty7. A lot of y'all may have heard of them, maybe not, but they're Joe Dispenza followers, but they reached out to me. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, it was Leah from Vancouver that set us up together. And they reached out to me and said they'd like to interview me. So I was actually happened to be close by in Texas. I went down there to their house, Cheryl and Kyle, and met their family. Got a nice family down there. And then we did a little interview. We just talked about all things meditation, and it went great. It was a great day. We had a good time. Really good to kind of connect with someone else that does YouTube type of stuff like this. So when that video comes out, I'll share it with you guys and you can watch it. But I also recommend you go over to, let me see if I can put this up, at Salty7. You can go subscribe to them, and they talk about all different types of stuff with meditation. And they've got something that just came out on William Henry, if you've ever heard of him, that was kind of interesting. So anyway, that's what I was doing last week, and I was traveling, so I couldn't get access to internet while I was on the road. So I'll put the Facebook group back up here. Now, let me look at this. We do have in the, hold on one moment. All right, wait just a moment. We do have a poll we're doing here. I got to check in on it. Sorry. All right, so we got streaming. All right, so we got a poll of what we're going to do, what meditation we're going to be doing. And I've got 4 of them up there. The Alchemist, Sync Your Energy to Abundance, Sync Your Energy to a New Life, and Body Electric, which is, I just want to put it out there, it's an hour and a half long. So if that's a problem, you may not want to vote for it. And that does include breath work as well, too. So that could kind of get intense, and I think it's a good bit of breath work. So I thought I'd throw it in there to do something a little different. So keep voting for it, and let's see where we end up by the end of this thing here and see what happens. All right. Let me get out of this. Sorry, I'm trying to be more efficient on this. All right. Now, if anybody has any questions too, you can just kind of hold them or just put them in there. We'll go over them here in a little bit, but I wanted to share a couple of things. So last time I was on here, just finished with Dr. Joe's Nashville week-long retreat, and I talked a little bit about that the day after the retreat. And I'm probably not going to say too much about it now because I'm working on doing a video about my experiences from it. And so when that video comes out, I'll be sure to let you know, and I'll probably put it in that Facebook group as well too. So, like I said, this past week I was also in New Orleans. I play music, not for a living. I used to, but I was playing music down there at the Jazz Fest in New Orleans, and I broke away from that and met Kyle and Cheryl in Texas for for an interview with them with the Salty Seven. So, but yeah. Also wanted to share with you that a lot of people have been asking about my music, of what I do, and I play under my own name, just kind of locally, but I play with other people, mostly in their bands, and I travel all over the country doing that. Not all the time, but I do every once in a while. And if anybody lives in Key West, I'll be in Key West playing music with Dave Jordan from New Orleans. We'll be playing the 19th, 20th, and 21st at the Green Parrot. And then we'll also be the 25th in Charlotte, the 26th in Nashville, Tennessee, and the 27th will be in Atlanta. I'm pretty sure those are the dates. If anyone's interested, you can shoot me a message. I'll tell you more information. So people have been asking, so I thought I'd share a little bit of that with you. Now, let's see here. I've got, so a couple of things that I was going to talk about before we get into the meditation was people that are struggling with the meditation, because a lot of people have reached out to me that are struggling. And I find that you actually, before we talk about that, I'm sorry, I wanted to talk about New Orleans. I told you that I was in New Orleans at Jazz Fest, and I was playing music down there, but I wanted to share with you about that. I kind of got ahead of myself, but I wanted to share with you for the people that kind of struggle with meditation, and also just sometimes if you doubt if you're doing it right, or if it's not working, or if you feel like that wasn't a good meditation, maybe it wasn't effective. I played a couple nights ago down there, and I did like a 40-minute meditation before, maybe about an hour or two before I played my gig. And so I did a 30, 40-minute meditation. The meditation, most of my meditations, I always think they go well. Maybe there's not a crazy, wild experience, but I'm just going through the thing. It's always, I feel like they go well for me. I don't get stressed out like, oh, that wasn't a good one, or that was a bad one, things like that. I like all of them. No one meditation is the same. For me. So, but this one meditation, I will be honest, I was getting frustrated, and I was kind of going, man, I don't know if this is working. I don't know if this meditation is doing anything. I started doubting myself, and I was kind of like, man, I don't know. I think I just wasted 40 minutes of my time. And I don't normally think like that. But I was in New Orleans. I had a lot of distractions. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of people, and I'm getting ready to go play. But I wanted to get this in before I was playing music. And so I did the meditation, kind of took off my mask, and when I did, I just kind of went, I don't think anything happened with that. I just put the meditation down, I went to my gig, started setting up, and we took a little break and set up and started playing. And once we started playing, I had an incredible night of playing music. And it was one of those nights that it's hard to get to that place playing music. And I have to only look at the only difference is I meditated before doing that. Even though it didn't feel like a good meditation, that has to be the only thing that was able to help me out in the music on stage to really give me a great experience with this music. I mean, it was just effortless. I was flowing through it. I was 10 times more creative, but very appropriate, not just being unnecessary. I was very appropriate within the context of the songs, and and it felt good from start to finish. It felt good to get done with that and go, man, I wish every gig was like that. So I definitely am attributing that crappy meditation to that great gig that I played. So if you ever think that you're doing a meditation and it didn't work, to me, when I play music, that's a litmus test of I feel like I can see direct results from meditating into playing music. I'm probably going to make a video of that in the future, but I can almost gauge where I'm at, how effective this meditation was when I go and play music. And it's always effective. And whenever I play music, I want to meditate before I go and play, because it makes it a better, easier, more creative, more free-flowing experience. As musicians say, get in the zone. So it's easier to get in that zone. And before meditating, it was just, that wouldn't happen so often. It'd always be a struggle, fighting. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to share that. If you got a crappy meditation, you feel like you feel like it didn't work out, it probably worked out for you. That doesn't mean you have to go play music, but just let it go and just go on and do life, and just trust that it's working. You don't have to feel it at 110% every single time in order for it to work. So I just thought I would share that with you. Also, I wanted to share with you that you want to, when we go and do this meditation in a little bit, if you're struggling with meditation, I find that a lot of people, when I talk to them on the phone, they're going, oh, my girlfriend, my wife, I got this job, I don't have any money, my car's broken down. I got all these issues that they've got, which is totally understandable. Everybody's got issues, but they're kind of going into the meditation just going, they want to go ahead and solve all that. Now, I think meditation will solve all that, and to make a long story short, but it's not fair to go into the meditation with all this baggage of crap you've been holding on to, and then you get done 45 minutes later and you go, oh, there's all this crap still here. And then you blame yourself for the meditation that it didn't work, and you start believing that it doesn't work. Well, of course it's not going to work. But what I would suggest doing is stripping all that away, and just try to do little things in these meditations. There's no step-by-step guide on really how to meditate. I tell people that I can't really tell you how to meditate, but I can tell you what not to do. I'm really good at telling you what not to do, but there's things you can do, but not one person can say this is how you do it. Everybody's experience is different. You have to get in there. You have to kind of play with it a little bit. Just play with it. And just so every time you meditate, if you're struggling, just kind of play with it and be okay with maybe that was right, maybe that was wrong. I think if you're spending time just turning down the volume of focusing on all your thoughts, then you're going in the right direction. But just play with it in there, and that's what I would suggest to people: is just spend a little time going into this next meditation we're going to do, or whenever you do, just play with it. And another thing I would say is, I focus on my heart. Some people focus on their breath. They focus on a word or a noise or a sound. I really just tell people how to meditate. It's just when I focus on my heart, it's literally, it's kind of that, it's in the back of my mind, focusing on my heart right there. And then I'm just shutting down the volume of all the chatter that's going on. Now, that chatter still goes on. Those thoughts are going to come up. There's going to be all sorts of stuff, but you just want to watch them and just don't engage with them and don't wrestle with them. So that's the whole thing. So don't get upset like, oh, here comes all this stuff, my taxes, my coworker, all this stuff that comes up that you feel like is pulling you out of the meditation. It'll try to pull you out of the meditation, but you just look at it and just go, hey, there it is. That's cool. All right. So I would just focus on your heart, kind of like you would in the back of your mind. Like, all right, it's there. You're not sitting there concentrating hard. There's nothing hard. It's just, it's right there. Just spend time focusing on that. And then when these thoughts come up, just don't engage with them. Go, if there's something that really has bothered you in your past and it starts to come up, just go, that's messed up. I can't believe that's happening. I can't believe that's coming up again. But that's what I wanted to try to suggest or recommend to people. So anyway, another thing I wanted to share with you, I wanted to thank Jen from Miami for bringing this to my attention, but I've had a bunch of people ask me about not a bunch, but probably about 5 people ask me about what kind of mask I use. And Jen said that, I should probably talk about it. So this is the mask that I use. It's called a Manta mask. I like it. It's MANTA mask. What the mask does, some people ask me, what does the mask do? It does do anything. You don't have to have a mask to meditate, but what it does do is it just kind of, this will totally block out the light within a room. And what that'll do is basically help you kind of take you out of your environment of where you're at. If you're in your bedroom, if you're your living room, it kind of gets you away from being wherever you are to kind of go on a trip or a journey, or so to speak. And it just cuts down on distractions. I enjoy using this for meditating, and I use it sometimes for sleep. But they got these big cups. They're foam. You can actually open your eyes in them, and you don't feel like the mask. So you can actually open your eyes in the meditation, and you can't tell if your eyes are closed or open. And so I kind of like that. It's kind of freedom with my eyelids. So, but it's called Manta Mask. I'd put a link up, but if you just Google Manta Mask, you'll find it. I'm not making any money from those guys. So, anyway, I've been going on here. Does anybody have any questions about meditation or anything they're struggling with, or anything of that nature? Maybe some people have asked. But before we go to questions, let me see if we can check in on the poll here. If I can do that. Oh man, everybody wants to do body electric. All right, I'm telling you, there's a lot of breath work in there. It's an hour and a half long, just putting it out there. So, don't be scared now. All right, so let's see if there's anybody's got any questions. Jane showed up. Thanks for showing up, Jane. Again, I didn't say it in the beginning, but there's no cover charge to get in. All you have to do is just type where you're from. That's all you got to do. And if you want to like the video, and you can subscribe, whatever you want to do. But just type where you're from. Let people know where you're from. That's a good question. I actually was going to... so Moby Dick asked, do you ever get uncomfortable keeping your spine straight while meditating? Now, some people will probably argue with me on this. Yeah, I get uncomfortable keeping my spine straight. So, I don't keep it straight. Like I said, there's no step-by-step guide. Nobody really knows. That's what works for this person. Some people lay down. Some people walk. Some people sit up. I personally, my body shakes and convulses. I kind of have to find a spot where my body can kind of sit to where I can tolerate my body shaking throughout these meditations. Otherwise, it gets uncomfortable. And so I have to over the past year and a half, I've kind of found little spots that I can kind of sit in. So I wouldn't get obsessed with that. And as I have a lot of people ask me that, oh, your spine's got to be straight. That makes sense, but I don't believe you have to. That's just my personal opinion. And other people will give a strong statement of, oh, well, you need to have a straight spine. Well, that sounds good, but I don't think so. If you can just focus on your heart and just turn down that volume, it doesn't matter where your spine is. I think that people try to give instructions because teaching people how to meditate is a tough thing. It's like trying to teach someone how to blink. It's almost impossible. It's no step-by-step guide on how to blink, and there's no step-by-step guide on how to meditate. So, like I said, you kind of have to play with it. Maybe straightening your spine works for you. Maybe that works for somebody else. I focus on my heart. That's what works for me. Other people focus on their breath. Other people focus on a sound or a word or, I don't know, stuff like that. So that is a good question. I was actually going to bring that up, if meditation works. I thought about bringing that up. I'm glad you mentioned it. Let's see. All right, so Jane's got a question. Could you talk about the different types of Dr. Joe Dispenza retreats you've been to and your takeaways? So, yeah, I could share with you. I've been to really just a week-long advanced retreat, and then I've been to advanced follow-up retreats. And so I've been to maybe 6 events, but I've only been to those 2. So I've been to maybe 3 week-long events and 3 weekend advanced follow-ups. Some people say I'm crazy, and they may be right. Maybe a lot of events, but I enjoy it. I enjoy connecting with the community there. That's a big thing. I will say the differences between the 2 is really just the length of them. People ask me what the 3-day or the weekend advanced follow-up is. Just a continuation of the week-long, in my opinion. It's like the last 3 or 4 days of the week-long event, which is not bad. He probably, I think he does a few more other things, but it's nothing dramatically different. But I recommend going to both. I recommend spending time there. It's power with the community that he's built of 2,000 people showing up. I mean, to me, that's probably the most valuable thing. The information, the science, all that stuff is real interesting. But me, I'm not a very analytical person. I'm already sold on the deal. I know meditation works for me. I don't care how many proteins are in the blood. Some people do, and they find that fascinating and it works for them. But you don't have to know that in order to meditate. And I do find that very interesting. But it's just at a certain point, just here to meditate and to be able to change the things in my life, not be a scientist and understand every detail. But I don't understand that people do find that interesting. So that's what you spend time on during the week, is studying the science behind it. And then you spend a lot of time meditating. I mean, it feels like you probably spend 5 or 6 hours a day meditating. You take little breaks. There's one day where you could do like a 5 or 6 hour meditation. You'd start at like 3 in the morning and go until 9. It sounds crazy, and it is. But once you get in the flow of it, it's all good. It's a unique experience. You definitely connect with a lot of people. It's one of the easiest places I've ever been to be able to meet people. And I think everybody's just kind of vibing on the same frequency. You feel like you've already met everyone, even though you haven't. So when you bump into somebody, it's like, hey, you want to grab lunch? Let's go. And you don't even know their name yet, So it's a real unique experience that way of interacting with the people there. So I'm kind of just giving an overview, but I hope that answers your question, Jane. Lily says, I love Salty7 too. Yeah, they got a great little channel over there. They got a bunch of followers, and they're working on the video now. It's probably be a couple of days, and they'll put it out, and I'll put it on my channel too and let you guys know about it. Again, if you're just showing up, there's a Facebook group that I've got that if you want to come and join, we'll be able to communicate a little better, I think. All right, so catching you live. Yeah, thanks for showing up, Jason. I can't make it tonight, but we'll be there next time. All right, Wilson from Vermont. Oh, yeah, I remember you. All right, Moby Dick's from Indiana. All right, Nico is asking if I have done a walking meditation lately. And I'm going to be honest, I don't really do walking meditations. I know some people that may bother some people, or I know that's some people's favorite meditations is those, and I have done them before, but my body does convulse, and it's really hard to walk. If I'm going to be honest with myself, if I'm in a meditative state, where my body will shake and convulse while doing the walking meditation. So it's kind of like doing a meditation kind of drunk, and it's very uncomfortable on my back, whether it's straight, crooked, or whatever. It's very kind of stressful. So I don't do a lot of walking meditations, but I do understand why people, that would be some of their favorite meditations. And yeah, so that's just what I do. All right, got Christine from Indiana. All right, let's see, got Rosario from Miami. When energy flows, it flows. That's right. All right, you mentioned you focus. All right, let me see here. Got another question. You mentioned you focus on your heart during meditation. Have you been successful using breath? Yeah. Once I kind of tapped into this meditation, I could really start to play with this thing. And so, yeah, I could focus on my breath. I can focus on a word. I can focus on an object. I mean, yeah, I don't have a problem, but I just choose to kind of just focus on my heart. I don't feel like there's a difference. You're just using that as as a way to be able to get into that meditation. Because once you really get in deep, you kind of lose thought that you're holding. It's kind of like holding a handrail when you're going up the steps. You don't think about, your hand being on the rail going all the way up. You just kind of use it as you go along. And that's kind of what I feel like when I'm focusing on my heart or focusing on my breath. Once you get in and get into the meditation, then it's just kind of there in the background. It's like in the back of your mind that it's right here, or it's on your breath, because there's this whole movie going on. It starts to get crazy sometimes that will keep your attention away. But once you're in, that deep meditation, it's easy to stay there, but it's hard to get in there because you think you have to do something. And it's the complete opposite. You just do less. And it's hard to understand. But it's, I hope that answers your question. But yes, I've been successful with breath, just focusing on my breath. I can't make it tonight. We'll be here next time. All right. Let's see. We got we're gonna take the challenge of WM. You might end up levitating. Just teasing you. All right. I didn't get it, but that's all right. It sounded funny. All right, hold on. So Dana's continued from her previous question. Doing breath versus focusing on your heart, do you experience a different meditation? No, I don't think so. Like I said, it's kind of like putting your hand on the hand railing. And I don't really... The thing is, every meditation to me, I can't say that one is exactly like the other. They are all... They got their own fingerprint. And are they drastically different? Yes, sometimes they are. Are they slightly different sometimes? Yes. I could maybe say, well, this one was kind of like that one I did last week. And maybe nothing exciting happens that I could talk about. But sometimes it's absolute fireworks going off. And it's bizarre and it can get intense. And so it's somewhere between that thermostat of nothing to just craziness. And but there's not one meditation that I can say is like the other. So I can't really say that it's a different experience between the two. I personally don't think it would be. The main thing is just to get into that state, no matter if it's your breath or if it's your heart. I don't think it's like another room that you go into. Well, I'm going to focus on my breath. That's a different kind of thing. That's just a difference. Well, some people feel more comfortable with. For me, I found it through just focusing on my heart first. And so that's kind of my go-to. But I'll play around with it and focus on my breath. I'll be honest. When I'm trying to go to sleep, I do these little 5-minute meditations where, like, if I didn't sleep well, I will focus on my breath. That seems to kind of just really, I feel like I can meditate for 5 minutes and I feel like I slept for 20 minutes or for an hour. So that is a difference, but I think overall it doesn't really make that big of a difference. There might be people out there that tell me wrong. That's just my experience. All right, coincidence, 2 people from Indiana. We've had crazier coincidences on here. We had 2 people from Tokyo on here a couple of weeks ago. So, all right, does anybody have any more questions? It's coming on 8 o'clock. Let's see. Oh, man, you guys really want to do that body electric. I was hoping y'all didn't want to do that, man. I'm hungry. I'm going to have to get something to eat. But I threw it in there. That's all right. So, all right, so... before we move on, does anybody have any questions? All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this Facebook group back up here. That's a link to our Facebook group. If you're just showing up, it'll be an easier way for me to be able to communicate with you guys. If you want to come and join that, you can share it with other people that you think. And I'll kind of let everybody know if there's an emergency, I can't make it, so that way you don't have to plan for the Monday or something like that. I just feel like that might be easier to communicate. So go there and join, and give me just a second, and let me just check the... All right, yeah. I got 11 votes. Let's see, anybody else want to vote on it? It looks like we're doing body electric. So you guys give me a minute. I will go over to Zoom and get a Zoom link, and just bear with me a second.
Recording in progress.
All right, let's see, coming back at you here. All right, let's see here. All right, here's the link to the Zoom, but Will has a question that might help him in this meditation. How do you do the breath for the start of Joe Dispenza meditations? Dr. Joe Dispenza tells you how to do that. But if you don't know how to do breath work, just You could just lay out of it. It's just a strategy to be able to help you quiet down your mind, to be able to connect with the meditation. It's not a requirement. But how do you do it? Like I said, I would go to Dr. Joe. That's his work that he teaches. I even think that you could probably go to Wim Hof. It's a very similar technique that you could do. It is different, but it's a little similar. I've done both, and I get very similar results. So if you know how to do Wim Hof breath, you could probably go over and just do that instead. But some people would probably argue with me. That's just do what you know. But I would suggest going to Dr. Joe and in his world, and he'll tell you how to go through the breath work. There's a lot of videos out there on that. All right, so that's the link. Let's see if people are getting over. All right, hold on. Is anybody having trouble with the link? I'm not seeing anybody come in. Let's see. Oh, I don't think I showed it. Oh, no, it came through the chats. That's the link for the... All right, Tina's in over there, so that link is working. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to that link. All right, Lily's from Miami. Thanks for showing up. If you're just showing up, we're about to go over and do the Zoom call. I got the link just a couple of chats above. So go to that link. Make sure you press mute when you get in there so we don't disturb everybody. And we're going to get started in about 5 minutes. So take a little break if you got to use the restroom or whatever you got to do. We're going to give it about 5 minutes from now. So it's 8:03. We'll start at 8:08 here in just a few minutes. So everybody come on. I'll leave the live stream up and going so you can use the link there. All right. I'll see y'all in just a minute.